I must thank Professor Pramod for making this happen. Was part of it, but sometime became too busy nowadays. So much of travel. Then I thought I must come to Puri and meet and then have this. So it's a great opportunity that is given to me. The blessings of Jagannatha. I was there in Assam and I had a darshan of Jagannath, a miniature or a smaller temple which was constructed by Patnaik when he was the Assam governor there. And I decided next I will come to Odisha and then have a darshan here, and then kind enough of Professor Dash, he made these events in different places, and one of them was yesterday we had in the Utkal University. The young children interacted very well, and none of these topics were even consulted with me. I'm sure my brother is so confident that I can speak on this topic, or maybe if I miss somewhere, he will be able to fill in the blanks. So even today, just by dropping also, I have not even looked at the topic because every day it's travel looking at. So karma, domain and dynamism. I look at it because we are in a philosophical family. We must look at it from the philosophical perspective. So integrating three things. One is karma, another one is domain, another one is dynamism. Right action in the right domain with an adaptability will make it successful. And that is what the fulfillment every doer has. Right action, so that means karma, in the right domain, in the right place, with the dynamism. Dynamism is what? Adaptability. At the right situation, at the right place, for whom, for what, at what point of time, who are the beneficiaries. Look at all these aspects when I do a karma. That is a successful story. See, for example, now I am in an action of discussing, or we are in an action of involved into the topic which we have in our friend, that karma, domain and dynamism, which is to be discussed here. So my action becomes rightful and the whole program becomes successful when it is in the right domain. What is the right domain? The philosophy family is the right domain. I am in the right domain. If I am in a wrong domain and I speak of the same topic in a different style, I am sure people don't accept it because the domain is bad. The university has to be good, the organizer has to be good, the classroom has to be good, the dynamism around me has to be good, so I become adaptable to the situation. If somebody is not in tandem matching with the harmony with me, I will not feel comfortable. So when I am not comfortable, the fulfillment will not come. So what is karma, domain, dynamism? All together gives me and all the people who are the receivers of action. The right action has to have some result. The receivers of the result. What is that? That becomes successful, that becomes fulfillment. I think I can stop this lecture here because this is the right way to introduce the topic and nothing more can be told about it. Right action in the right domain with adaptability makes successful and fulfillment. And that is what we are looking at. But then let us, because it's a 1.5 hour lecture, I think I have to speak a little more. Then we will have lot of interactions and probably reactions and all that will come. How do we balance? In the dynamic world, what happens is I have a duty and I must change my life according to the responsible and a flexible situation in which everything can be put in the right way, the right style, so that people understand it in the right sense. And this happens, and what for I should do this? As per, we all know that all of our reference and karma comes, immediately we will say it is on Bhagavad Gita. So I cannot escape like everybody can look at it. Who is the right person? Even in Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan Krishna, when he spoke to Arjuna, he referred a beautiful person, the right person, who used dynamic and the real domain in which it has to be done, and with all the best action. Anybody can give a suggestion whose name came? And that is where it says Loga Sangraha. Loga Sangraha. Loga Sangraha is how do we make all my action with all that I do in a Sthitapratna level, where the world itself, I am in the world of Puri now. Loga is Natha for the Loga. Jagannatha. Jagat is Loka. The Logadi Natha. That Vishnu, he himself in his avatara as Krishna, mentioned not about him. He did not say, I am the... No, he did not say that. He said, if you have got a focus, objective and scope, you are doing research, you are doing teaching, you are giving a talk, you are cooking, any household activity when you do, there are two things have to be very, very, very focused. One is objective and the another one is scope. What for I am doing? What is my lakshya? What is the karma which I am doing? What for I am doing? Who is the beneficiary? What are the people or what is the method in which I am going to do, so that will make it the better. So the Loga Sangraha bhi, for that Loga Sangraha, Karmanyaivahi samsiddhim, Karmanyaivahi samsiddhim, Astita, he quotes. Who is being quoted there? Janaka Daya. Janaka is the person, the rightful action came in the whole Itihasa, Purana, Upanishads. You look at everywhere, people are not being quoted that generously by Bhagavan. Here, the Bhagavan himself is quoting. Who is the person who is responsible, or who is the person whom you can take as an Acharya, who has done the righteous thing at the right place with a lot of dynamism in the right domain, and that is Janaka. We have a beautiful example here. Loga Astita Janakataya Loga Sangrahame Vapi Sam Pashyan Kartumarhasi. It's all being done by Janaka. But we cannot stop at 20, the sloka number 20 in the third chapter Karma Yoga, because we have to go to 21 also. And what does it say? Yadyadajara distrashta tattade vetarochana sayat pramanam gurude lokastadanuvartade. Who is an Acharya? Definition itself is here. When my work becomes a fulfillment work for me, whatever I am doing is beneficial for many people, and I have got that fulfillment in me, and the people get benefited out of it, therefore my karma becomes so successful. That means the karmi who is going to do becomes an Acharya, because he is doing it. Acharya's job is doing things and showing to the others for them to follow, and the beneficiaries will follow them. So definitely this is the best example. And 21st sloka, I quoted 21 because 20 because I want to have the Janaka's name there. Yadyadajara distrashta tattade vetarochana sayat pramanam gurute lokastadanuvartade. By performing the prescribed duties, what is assigned to me, that is what I am supposed to do. King Janaka, what he did? He attained the perfection. And you should also perform your duties. Bhagavan is telling Arjuna. So what is to be done? You have to set an example to the world, so that you also becomes an Acharya like Janaka. Those who are karmis, those who are into action, those people are Acharyas always. Whatever action great person perform, common people will follow. And whatever standards they set, that will become the world practice. Therefore, Arjuna, you have to do your action. What a great example is quoted by Bhagavan himself by quoting a king like Janaka in this place. So, most important is karma, but second important is domain, and third importance is the dynamism which do. I must do pranams to Pramodji for giving such a topic, for making me to reflect on this, thinking about it, understanding the meaning, whether I don't know whether I am explaining it in the way I am able to do it, or maybe if that is not enough, any one of you who are expert in this must expand this. It's a beautiful topic. I loved it so much. I loved it so much. Thank you so much for this topic, which makes me to think beyond what I used to do generally when I talk about Bhagavad Gita. Those the principle of action with the great consequences, that makes it a great karma. So karma is not important. The action is important. Not everyday activity what I do cannot be that karma. Generally what happens is the common people, they think Bhagavan Krishna is talking about making idli, sambar, chapati, sabji. वो karma है बोल के. वो karma नहीं है. Karma is something which is lokanam upakaraya, which is useful for human being. So the karma means action. That doesn't mean the English action. It means work. That doesn't mean the English work. It means the deed, not your duty alone. What I do beyond my duty is what I am doing as DrTPS now is not what I am supposed to be done by with a salary that I am doing. You are getting a salary in a department for teaching and you are doing only that, then that is not karma. That is a karma which is your prarabdha karma. That is not what is required because you are getting salary, you are doing it. Nishkama karma is important. What is useful for the people around the world, beyond your limit, beyond your definitions, beyond your order in which it is given by government. No, that is not what you are supposed to do. Any action, any thoughts, any intention, any activity which you do will have an effect on the future, the generations to come, the large number of people, and that has a great effect. This is what we should understand when we talk about action, and it is according to the Dharma Shastra. So there is an ethical rule in which it should not be. I should not have a second thought. Should I do it or not do it? No, that thought should not come. It should come not from my buddhi. Thought comes from the buddhi. I should not think about it before doing it. It should just come casually with all the devotions. With the bhakti it should come. With the devotion it should come. With the full involvement it should come. And it should not become that only I am passionate about the job, but I don't worry about what is the consequence of it. It cannot be karma. So, that is why Uddhared Atmanatmanam Atmanam Avasadhe Tatmaiva Kyatmano Bandhu Atmaiva Ripuratmanaha. The Siddhapratna level, with all that Atmiya Purusha, what he does, not with the brain, not with the feeling, but with the Atma. And such activity always becomes ethical. And it becomes accountable. Everybody can follow this. And such a concept when you do, the beautiful quote, everybody talks about the Bhagavad Gita. Without that, I can't think I can speak about the karma. Because the second chapter, the 47th sloka, how can I skip it? All that karmanyevadhikaraste ma bhaleshu kathajana. Many people misquote this. Probably the sloka in Bhagavad Gita which is totally misquoted by most of the people are karmanyevadhikaraste ma bhaleshu kathajana. That is because they did not understood the real ma bhaleshu kathajana. And what is that phalam? The phalam is not the salary which I get. That is why I said, once you consider this, you should not expect your salary when you do job. Cannot be said by quoting this sloka. Many people do that. The casual people, politicians, everybody does that. No, that is not what it is. Karmanye vadhikaraste ma phaleshu kathajana ma karma phalehe durbhur ma de sangosto karmani. Without the, many people also here also sangosto karmani ma sa asangosto karmani. You should not have any attachment. That's what people say. That's totally wrong. Every Krishna had attachment to Arjuna, otherwise he will not give this lecture, he will not give no speeches. I have attachment to Pramod Kumar Das, otherwise I will not come to philosophy family. I have got attachment to all my relatives. But attachment too much becomes a bondage. So Bhagavan Krishna is not talking about attachment, sangam. Sangam tukta. Sangam tukta. What is that sangam? Sangam is not attachment. It is misquoted in most of the translations in Bhagavad Gita by the Western scholars or the people who are not scholars, though consider themselves as scholars. Bondage. Without bondage. That means action with liberty. Action with liberty. Probably not many people in Bhagavad Gita by interpreting would have talked about this liberty. With all the freedom I have, I am doing my job. That means I am using my freedom to do my action, but those people who are related to me are affected good or bad is not my problem. It is not because I don't have an attachment to my Pitamaha, I am fighting. I am more attached to the activity what is happening in the Rajyam, in the world around me, and for the better benefit of the larger number of people I am supposed to do some actions, and that I am doing with full liberty, because that is why Bhagavan at the end in the 18th chapter he says Yadeshchati tata kuru. You do what you wanted to do, and the action with liberty. Yadeshchati tata kuru. We have to read that along with this. Then we realize it is not that without having attachment, it is having without bondage. So such karma becomes sakama karma, selfish action. I am not selfish. I am without selfish, I am doing a nishkama karma. These things if you understand, karmanyevadhikaraste ma phaleshu katajana ma karma phalehe durbur mate sangosto karmani will be understood in a different style. Once you understand this, I am sure you must read that Edeshchati Tata Guru, Bhagavan Krishna's message. Once you both read together, you understand my karma becomes great in standard only when it's not a superficial action which I do every time. It is supposed to have a benefit for larger people, a common people who are not otherwise benefited by somebody's action. So when you do great karma, somebody's action which becomes beneficial for somebody's to their life-changing, life-transformative activity, what you do becomes a great karma. And that is like planting a tree. You are performing all the activities which you are supposed to do, protecting it and giving water, allowing it to grow, all that is done. But whether tomorrow that plant is going to give you fruits or not, it is not in your hand. That is Bhagavan will give. Maybe I can protect it, but the mango tree grows up with full leaf. It has grown too much, but whether that mango has got that nice taste, whether mango is flowering every season, whether it is giving mangoes to everyone around that is not in my hand. And when I plant, I should not think that all the mangoes which is given by the mango tree, I will only eat. So I should not become that selfish. My activity should be, I should do the job without getting all the benefits into my hand. Oh, I am selling all the mangoes and making money. No, that should not be my aim. Something should be left to all the living beings around. That is why we have Bhutayatnam. Every animal, every small creature around my world also get benefited. So this is where my karma, when I do, I must not become only a single soul selfish person. I must have a domain, a sphere of influence, a responsibility around me who are looking at gathering the benefit or grabbing the benefit or getting the shower and shadow for the benefits of what I am being done. And that becomes the field in which the action will take place. That is where the importance of the karma becomes much, much greater from the common level to a higher philosophical level. In the context of karma and the duties and responsibilities, what choice which I have, where I can do, whether I should do it at this place or some other place. We know the great gurus or acharyas like our Chanakya left Takshashila and came to the same place where we are now. They came to the Indian place, Indian continent from Takshashila, they came to Nalanda. The Nalanda came because he don't want to be there because the people are not in the domain in which he was working was not giving satisfaction for him. Such a great guru left his country. Like today it is in Pakistan, that time it was in the great Bharat. So in the West Bharat, he came to the eastern side of Bharat. Why? Why did he came? Not because he was not in the same karma, same teaching was his job. Then why he came to that place, to this place? Because he wanted to change the domain. Identify the best domain. Otherwise, you are losing your energy for unnecessary things, which will not get any benefit, not for my benefit, but for the people. Probably you would have been paid more salary there. That is not my aim. Let the people get more benefit, so I am ready to move my domain. That's what Kaudilya has done. That's what Chanakya has done. So a great example here. In the same place where I am there now, the Bihar and the Odisha region is the greatest place where a lot of academic activity happened once upon a time. We cannot forget that. So it is not the personal, it's not the professional, it's not the social, it is the cosmic benefit what people have to look at it. And that is how the Maurya Samrajyam came. The whole Maurya Samrajyam was built by Chanakya. And I am sure Odisha has got a lot of benefit, or probably we had problems around that during that time the country got lot of problems. But ultimately what happened in the Maurya Samrajyam has benefited all these part of the country. Therefore, that benefit not for a shorter time, for a longer time how the benefit happens. So that's why I said it's a cosmic effect, not the personal. Personal effect is only few years. Professional effect is only until when you are in that profession. Social effect is only the limited place. But it beyond the time. All the temples in this world are having a cosmic effect because it's not personal, not professional, not social. It's a cosmic effect. That time it would have been not in this part of the world, for that benefit, or that many number of people would not have been visited. So the people are increasing. So many people are getting into this. So that is what is Swadharma, which impacts for the responsibility for the greater world around my world. That is more essential. And that is why Bhagavan Krishna talks in Bhagavad Gita, asking Arjuna to become a warrior for a better and greater cause. You can see the same philosophy in the Greek philosophy also. I am not an expert in Greek philosophy, but I only say that people are interested. You can look at the domain interest. I am sure that could be the reason my Professor Pramodji has mentioned this, because in Greek philosophy, they talk about domain. Maybe in the Indian philosophy, we don't have that sort of a word being talked about, domain, justice, etc., etc. But Greek philosophy talks about it dynamically, explicitly. But in our philosophy, we can see is implicitly inside that. You'll have to read, reread to understand or interpret the way which I'm trying to do now. Probably must be the method in which you must look at what is domain. The sphere of influence and the responsibility in the philosophical meaning have got operates in a, not in the only in the personal level, social level also it operates. I'm not saying it's not there, but the cosmic level in which it operates is more important. Therefore, it becomes a dharma, which becomes a swadharma for me to retain the dharma in whatever I am doing. That is why Bhagavan Krishna talks about in the 18th chapter, Sreyan swadharmo vigunaha paradharmat swa anushtitat swabhava niyatam karma kurvan na apnodi kalbisham. The way in which the better the own dharma, which imperfectly what I do or perfectly what I do, is not what is great important for this. But what is important is another's dharma, my neighbor's dharma, my well-wishers who are all going to come in the generations ahead, all those dharma, that you should become very perfect. Therefore, the intimate duty which I am doing, the duties which are given to me by birth, duties given by my subordinates, maybe superiors, maybe by environment, all of them, the person does not do, or there is no way of getting without sin. Everybody does sin. But what is to be done is whatever you are doing should have a dharmic mulya inside that, so that in the greater life for larger time, in the longer world it becomes so beneficial to everybody. And I am sure here also we have got the Greek philosophers like heroes and all such people were being talked about the knowledge and the defiances. So the dynamism is now coming into picture. What is, where, when, how, why I do. That determines in what view I am doing, what is the objective and scope. So without objective and scope, whatever I do becomes useless. So the dynamism comes with a change, adaptivity, and a growth potential at every point of time. Growth is essential. So you should never get satisfied with the action which you are doing. Satisfaction is a wrong word in any karma. When you get satisfied, you don't grow. So development doesn't happen. So I must be happy but become unsatisfied. So when I become unsatisfied, what do? I change my ways. I adapt to new situations. I change my technological usage. I grow dynamically at every point of time. So dynamism is very, very, very essential part of any action which we do. The world consistently have got a change happening. The flow happens. Everything changes. What was the purpose of the temple? What was built by the long 10th century to 13th century? We had great temples which came. But the temples were not that. Temples were there much before. But after that, there was a renovation which came. The Buddhism came, Jainism came, a lot of problems came. And I am living in now today in Puri, where I understand all these changes were captured together, mixed together, made changes so that becomes so dynamic to the society of today's world. If it would have been thoroughly the same Hinduism, where Jainism and Buddhism were not understood and grabbed together, that is why when you go to the caves around here, you will see beautiful sculptures and the carvings which depicts Mahabharata and Ramayana. So I had a question, why the Buddhist and the Jainist have embraced the Hinduism altogether? So it is not opposing somebody's philosophy, it is putting them together for what? For a change situation. The world is constantly in flux. The flux is like a flow. Everything is flowing, the time is flowing, the thoughts are flowing, the philosophy is flowing, the society is flowing, the demands are flowing. So in such a situation, what happens is, we should understand the Shiva's cosmic dance, which is the creation, and getting to the meditation samadhi level. In between the action what we have doing, the karma which we are doing, has to reflect the dynamism, because in the creation there is a dynamism, and in the cosmic dance of Tandava for the Shiva there is a dynamism. So Vishnu has mixed them together. That is why most of the places what I have seen around the temples, we have a Vaishnava temple, but Shiva is part of every small activity. Every small activity that happens. Yesterday I was there in Raja Rani temple, but the story doesn't stop with Vishnu or Shiva. It's a conglomeration or maybe combination of both, and it doesn't stop there. We have Buddhist and Jainist philosophy together. So this is a beautiful depiction of the dynamism which happens in the religious pattern, in the pattern in which, otherwise why Kaudilya sort of a person should only educate people, but he found it is not enough. He should create a kingdom. He should create a large number of kings who will become the follower of him. So all that Maurya Samrajya came because of this dynamic activity what the great guru like Chanakya has taken into his brain. This is what the Gita's view also. Gita doesn't say you should not change. You should have the action in yoga adapting and leads to the growth of people. What does it say? Again, in your second chapter 50th sloka, we have a beautiful sloka. Second chapter 50th sloka, we have a beautiful sloka which talks about Buddhi Yukto Jahadita. That is what, yeah. Buddhi Yukto Jahadita Ubhe Sukrita Dushkrite Tasmat Udyogaya Yujjase Yogaha Karmasu Kaushalam. What is that Kaushalam? Kaushalam is that ability for you to understand what situation, where what is to be done. That is dynamism. That is skill. Working with the skillful action. The art of working is not what is being prescribed to somebody. You just do it. You must have that practice, that prudently practicing everything around you. Even the work what you have got, a emotional, intellectual, social, spiritual, any level which you are working, you have to do it without bondage and get rid of both the good and bad reactions around you, around the life. And therefore what is to be done? Strive with that yoga, which is the art of working. Buddhi yukto jahadiha ubhe sukrita or dushkrite tasmat udyogaya ujjaswaha yogaha karmasu kaushalam. And that kaushalam is that samarthyam, that ability to see what are the consequences of my action so that I can trammel up the consequences, as in the Shakespeare talks about in the Macbeth. I must be able to do that. That is leadership. So you should have a leadership. You should not become in the karma level all the time. Use the dynamism, use the best domain so that the karmi, the action who is under your control, will lead you, your control, your action, your liberty, your way of differently working, your adaptability to the situation, your decision making ability, your ethical decisions, your leadership quality comes into you, and you will change from smaller level to higher level, and your domain will become higher and higher. And that is what is essential. Yoga ha karmasu kaushalam. Excellence in action. So yoga is not closing your eyes. And yoga is not meditation as being taught today. Close your eyes and sit in a corner. No. It is meditation in action. I am from Swami Rama Himalayas tradition. So we prescribe always you should have the ability to work dedicated, and every action which you do becomes a meditation for you. And that comes with only freedom. That comes with the liberty and with a lot of courage in you. And that makes you a wise person, adapting to the changes, adapting to the situation. Ethically, integrity will become part of yours. And that dynamism should be your principle of activity for change and adaptation. And that is the dynamism which we are talking today. And that dynamism refers to a continuous movement, adaptability, evolution, change. Look at the situation, learn together. So it needs a lot of learning. That is why the karma without adaptability, karma without domain, become karma without knowledge. The fourth chapter totally talks about knowledge. So if you have to learn how the karma devotion becomes knowledgeable activity, and that knowledge purifies and makes your action better and better. This is what you are supposed to do. And I'm sure the karma yoga, with a lot of devotion, with a lot of activity, your perspective in looking at what is being done every day around you becomes not just around you, it becomes the whole world dynamism. And that is what is represented by probably the Tandava of Shiva, and that in probably the I think the Heraclitus, the everything flows, the fundamental theory and the principles in the Greek philosophy also almost becomes the same, I think. So integrating karma, domain and dynamism for a meaningful life. If I call the title, if I want to rename it, how do one will have a meaningful life? The meaningful life comes only when you have integrated your karma, integrated your situations around you with a dynamism. I keep always saying your attitude and your skill and the opportunity given, all these three together becomes performance. And that is what I am saying here. Your skill becomes your karma, and domain becomes your opportunity, and the dynamism is what is the attitude which you should have. So probably until now I was telling attitude, opportunity plus skill is performance. Now I will tell probably karma plus domain plus dynamism together gives you a meaningful life. So align your action with the dharma, be adaptive and be ethical with everything around what you can do in your life, have a self-realization, and therefore your contribution becomes at a highest level and your life becomes meaningful. And that is what is called a Loga Sangraha. And that Loga Sangraha is what is being explained in the 3rd chapter 20th sloka. The 3rd chapter 20th sloka is a beautiful sloka in which what Bhagavan says is Karmanyaivahi samsiddham astita janakataya Loga Sangraha me vapi sampashyan kartumarhasi. That is why I wanted to start with the Bhagavad Gita 3rd chapter 20th sloka, and 21st sloka is probably the most best conclusive sloka which I can quote here during this time. Yadyada janati shreshta tattadeveturochana sayat pramanam kurute lokastadanuvartate. An acharya is one who performs such an action which is dynamic, which is where, when, what, why, how he has to do is understood perfectly. Therefore, his job becomes so adaptive. And such a karmi, such a person with a meditative action becomes an acharya. And we need in Bharat such great acharyas, because today's world is full of problems. Children have no questions. When you go to academic institutions, you don't see children asking questions. Why Bhagavad Gita is being taught? It is not made by Krishna. It is made by Arjuna. So we need lot of Krishnas. No, we need lot of Arjunas in this world. And what is our responsibility of acharyas? Creating such Arjunas is what is our responsibility. I am sure when Arjuna is there, Krishna will come. That is what we wanted to do. And the action for all of us today is not a blah 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 lecture to the senior most people. We want to make this dynamism and take them to the right domain. Therefore, the action becomes satkarma for the generations to come. We are all having a lot of concern. I am sure that is why we run in this philosophy family, meeting together, talking together, discussing together. Any small activity which is being done, like arranging somebody, picking up me from today to the hotel, taking to the temple, dropping me back, Professor Pramod himself has done. So all these have got a great impact, because it's not, he is not doing for my purpose, I am not doing for his purpose, we are doing for a global purpose. Any action which you do have got this desire in you, not a selfish desire, for a lokanam upakaraya. I am sure that is what we require. I think I spoke almost 40-45 minutes. That's all what I expect, because I am sure there are great scholars here, professors from different parts of the philosophical thinking. Add many more things probably. I am here only to learn. I think I should not come to Puri and then speak about philosophies where people have to learn from Puri. So I'll make this platform open. And I'm sure a lot of people will be having comments, questions. If there are good questions, I will be very glad. If I have questions where I cannot answer, I'm sure somebody will answer. So that will be another learning for me. Pranams and namaskaram to each one of you. Thank you so much. Good enough. Exactly 7:15. I thought I will speak only 45 minutes. I spoke 45 minutes. Good enough.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Okay,
Thank you so
thanks,
much.
Guruji, Dr. TPS.